he was reminding me that January 1st that'll be put into effect as church law. And so those 7 issues could still be put into effect, but they take a 2/3 vote from every annual conference to change the Constitution of the United Methodist Church. The likelihood of that happening is pretty low. So those 7 things deal with accountability issues, accountabilities for bishops, things of that nature. So what's likely to happen is that those things will be dealt with and amended at the 2020 General Conference. And whether or not they all get taken care of, I have no clue. Like I've said before, don't have a magic crystal ball to know what will happen with that, but I have a feeling that they will definitely be worked on in the 2020 General Conference. Now, I'm sure that the One Church plan will come back up in the 2020 General Conference. I'm sure that the Simple plan will come back up. Whether those will ever make it out of legislative bodies, they haven't for the last several years, last several General Conferences, but I don't know. It's hard to say. But right now, our Book of Discipline will be changing. January 1st, the Traditionalist Plan will be enacted, and everything that was found to be constitutional with it will be put into place. And so there were several of those things. One of those is more screening for clergy before they are ordained. One of those is boards of ordained ministry saying that they will uphold the Book of Discipline and those type of things. So then the next thing that came before the body was the disaffiliation plans. This is a graceful exit. What does that mean? Well, what happens now if a church wants to leave the denomination? Every piece of property is held in trust by every member of the United Methodist Church. We don't own our buildings as the congregation. They are owned by the entire denomination. And so if you want to leave, then you have to purchase the building. Sometimes that can be an exorbitant amount, those type of things. And so it makes it very, very difficult. This disaffiliation plan would allow for churches to leave and pay a minimal amount. They would have to pay arrearages if they owed things like apportionment or tithes. They would have to do some funding of the pension and those type of things. So that was before us. There was another minority report that was submitted by one of our delegates from Indiana, Beth Ann Cook. She was a part of the people that submitted it. And they made a new plan for disaffiliation that had less penalties and made it somewhat easier for a church that felt like they could not live with the Traditionalist plan or the way that the denomination was moving in a more conservative way to be able to leave. That was hotly debated, like everything else was, and it was passed. So now that is a part of our church law as well, that there will be opportunities for churches to leave the denomination if they feel like they can no longer be United Methodist. I don't know how that completely looks. At the end of that time, there was the closing of the session, and then we had a group from the Western jurisdiction that would include California and the areas out there. That is a much more progressive group who came to the floor and not really certain how they got to the floor. I don't know if they were given a point of privilege. I really don't know. I missed that. But they came to the floor to make an announcement, and basically it's stated that the way I understood it was that they were really considering taking that exit option as a jurisdiction and maybe starting a new denomination in that way. Now, I may have misinterpreted that. I don't know. It was hard to totally and completely determine what they were saying. But that's kind of the way I get it. So we were on a hard stop. I don't know if the monster truck rally is tonight. I don't know, but we had to, I'm getting a head shake. No, we had to be out by 7:30 because they were bringing dirt in for a monster truck show. And so we were leaving. There were, I don't even know. At one point in time, I counted 30 St. Louis police officers that were in and around the building to make sure protesting didn't get out of hand, which broke my heart that we had to have police officers there to make sure that we stayed Christian. That was disheartening. And so we left, and there were a lot of people who were hurt. I mean, that's just the thing. And no matter where you fall on the theological spectrum, I want us to all be compassionate with each other. I want us to love each other, and I want us to realize that people are deeply hurt. And we're going to walk through this together. And we're going to continue to live our mission and our vision out, and we're going to do God's will in Mentone and Rochester and Fulton County and Kosciuszko County and Marshall County and all the surrounding areas. We're going to do what God has called us to do, which is make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. And I hope that these decisions don't cause anyone who's a part of our congregations to say they can no longer live as a part of our family. That would really break my heart, but I also understand that may happen, and we will talk through that, and we'll love each other through that. And so that's about it for tonight. St. Louis is a neat city. Really would love to come back and check it out, and Vicki and I will probably do that and spend some time here. Found a couple good coffee shops as we walked by. If you want to, something that St. Louis desperately needs apparently is a Ben's Pretzels, because my really good friend Chris Gadlich had a pretzel just about every day from the Dome, and they just weren't Ben's Pretzels. So if someone's looking for an opportunity,
you got that right, brother.
Someone's looking for an opportunity to start a business, we need a Ben's Pretzels in St. Louis. So, but I'm so thankful that you all allowed me to be here. To represent you and to report back to you, and I'm looking forward to being with you in worship on Sunday. Sunday is going to be a little bit different. We are going to do a shorter version of worship, probably about 20 minutes, including receiving communion. I'll get with our worship leaders and let them know how that's going to play out, and then we're going to close worship, and we're going to spend 30-40 minutes talking about General Conference and trying to answer your questions. And then Wednesday night at Feast and Fellowship, I'm going to make sure that I eat beforehand, and while everyone is eating, I am going to give the opportunity for us to ask questions and do the same type of thing. We'll probably do a very short worship at Feast and Fellowship as well, where we celebrate communion, maybe sing a song, and then have that time together. So I think that's going to be really important, and it's going to be a time for us to walk through this together. Love you all. God bless you. Have a great night. Pray for us. I think we have to get up at 4 o'clock and be at the airport at 5, which is crazy, but that's what we're doing. We'll see y'all later. Bye.